Ignition. We have a liftoff. I repeat, we have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome to you all from Space Commander Fenris 7. Welcome back to the Fanspace program, and we are continuing right off where we left. We had recently planned our mission to Moon with the lunar orbit mission. We had an unsuccessful launch of a test rocket. Luckily, those are unmanned, so no loss of any lives. Loss of a lot of resources, but you have to fall at some point. At least it was a cheap one. Next month we have the launch of our solar wind monitoring request mission. In 2 months our payload for the moon launch is ready. And in 6 months we have the next funding review. So let's move time on. However, there's something positive to losing a rocket. After analyzing data from your recently failed test launch, researchers have identified several improvements that can be made to your booster technology. Sometimes we learn more when the things blow up, a particularly enthusiastic engineer commented. We gain 150 science, so it was not a complete loss. We didn't get the approval, but at least we got the science, or some science. So, let's see if our mission to monitor the solar winds in Earth's atmosphere. Really horrible weather. Horrible storm, exactly that day. So we will have to delay the launch by another month. Cannot be changed. Because terrible conditions, yeah, that's a thunderstorm, even less good for us. On the positive side, we get another 5% science reward if we do this. So, we'll move ahead to the next month. Able research is complete, so we got our upper stage for the moon mission, but not the lower stage yet. No special effects with the He-10 payload. But the solar wind monitoring is hopefully able to launch this month. Yes! No rain, that's a good sign. So, September 1958. Second year of our space program. It's adequate, 60% launch reliability. Let's go. Ignition. We have a liftoff. Let's see. That looks like a successful launch. Yep, nothing happened. Secure launch. Perfect. The booster and the upper stage, Lambda 4S, both get another level, so they get more reliability. And now it's time to do the orbital mission. Now, this one has additional power because the reliability of the payload was rather underwhelming. So we need, for a successful mission, 1 comms, 2 data, that's easy. Or for the bonus reward, we need 2 comms, 4 data. Let's start with the obvious choice. Creating the data. The comms, sorry. Ooh, barely made it, but no complications on the first action. And... ooh, not on the second one either, so really lucky first turn. And then we can use some of the comms. And if I do everything correctly here, I have to to power to mitigate any errors, we will finish this mission here with the bonus reward on the second of 4 turns. Yep. First action went well. We used 1 comms to generate 3 data. And then we'll just use 1 power to generate some additional data. And actually, this was a very successful one. We get probably 2 data. So we even got out of this with more data than we needed to. And this was the success. It can go as easy as that if you're lucky. So, we got 50% bonus in both approval and science. So we get 281 science for 2 months. In other words, we get 562 science over 2 months in total. And 192 approval. Which is good because the year is closing in. We still have to research the Auroch booster for the moon mission. However, we have now 1 open mission slot. And there was another mission, the orbital radio, equipped basic orbital satellite with a radio transmitter, the emissions of which can be tracked around the globe. So let's plan that mission. Basic standard payload. I am especially looking at the money a bit. Heck, no, I'm not gonna go as boldly as making it a prototype. I'm not that crazy. I cannot design this vehicle yet because we don't have the payload for it. Oh, we have the payload for it, but we don't have all rocket parts for it. Now, I can design the lunar orbit rocket. And it's gonna have the Able upper stage and the Auroch lower stage. So, it will cost us, take us 4 months to build. We'll not be able to launch this year anymore. And will cost us 186,000. But now that we have that done, I can now do the rocket test pad building research before we move on to animals in space. If I compare milestones, some are researching into animals in space. Both NASA is doing research. Oh, they have completed the research, required research, but not planning the mission yet, okay? I haven't. I feel like the pressure's on. Let's change plans here. Animals in space. I need to make sure we're still first there, so let's move on with Animal in Space mission next. And the Eden payload. Moon mission. The lunar orbit. We're the only ones who have everything done. We're in the planning phase, so that's nice. I want to be ahead of everyone all the time, basically. So, we have built the Osumi. Streamlining the payload design has decreased demands on the vehicle's structural stability, yet so far the mission has failed to capture the public's attention. So we get less support reward, but our vehicle build cost has been reduced, which, to be fair, is gonna be awesome because we are kinda, well, actually not super short on money, but could be more. So, again, this will be the Lambda one because it's a low Earth orbit simple satellite. And it only costs us 73k to build this in 2 months. Again, this will not be launching in this year, unfortunately. Eden payload next. Checking milestones, animal in space. No one has planned it yet, so we might be able to squeeze it in ahead of time. We have a few requests. We could do another guidance system test for our sounding rocket, because the more often we do this, the easier it is to do these missions, just as a little side thing. Design flaw discovered. Your engineers have discovered a design flaw in Hanabi, the launch vehicle in your upcoming lunar orbit mission. They estimate a 10% reduction from its current launch reliability of 65%. Correcting it would cost us 100k. We have them. I'll pay it. So, budget review. We didn't get a whole lot of approval, so we don't go up to 4th tier in funding, but it's fine. We are already at 3rd tier for this whole year, so we made quite a bit of additional funding here. Kachi. Vehicle performance testing found lower levels of stress on the payload than expected, which will reduce the chance of instrument damage during launch. So our payload reliability has been increased by 5%. Let's get into the launch preparations training for science, because it's the only one we have. And since we're... No, there's other missions waiting for us. Let's launch as quickly as possible. Also gives us a bit of a buffer should the weather not hold. And, next month, our rocket for the moon orbit is ready. Open Skies Debate. A global symposium is taking place to establish laws regarding territorial space for orbiting satellites. The proposed treaty states that all nations should have free access to space. Your advisors believe supporting the treaty will improve diplomatic relations with the other space agencies, though opposing it may prove popular with sections of our media. I'm a total supporter of the Open Skies Debate. I am for the international treaty that exists in real life that does not allow any nation to claim any body of any celestial body or any part of space for that matter. Hence, the whole idea of the US Space Force is a freaking insult to the scientific endeavors of any space agency. But I'll support this. With the agency's support, a global committee has established a treaty that forbids sovereign claims on space or celestial bodies and asserts that space activities should be for the benefit and in the interest of all countries. The other agencies reacted well to your support, so we gained 10 reputation with all other agencies. I don't care about China or the Soviet Union in that matter, but hey, we get a plus also with the ESA and NASA. Hanabi, no special effects, so we can queue it up for launch soon, but the orbital radio comes first. 65%, 63%, and 444 science waiting for us if this is successful. So, yeah. Launch day of the Kachi rockets. Adequate conditions, so 67% chance of a successful launch without anything negative, and even 26% chance of a negative event, which is not a failure. The only really thing that we cannot tolerate is the critical failure of 8%, but 8%, come on. And we have an ignition. And liftoff. We have a liftoff. Nothing particular happened. It was a secure launch. Our Lambda 4S are now, both the upper stage and the booster are now at level 3. They get a pretty good reliability of 66 and 64% individually. And then we need to do, of course, the orbital radio part, where we need to establish the Earth orbit. Takes, for the bonus award, 4 comms and 2 data. So we'll start by generating 1 comms and turning that into data. First turn. Oh. Yes, critical success. We had an ideal alignment. Preemptive payload positioning resulted in the antenna being ideally aligned for the transmission. This command will generate an additional 1 comms. And then the atmospheric sampling was successful as well. So we are now up to where we basically need to be. I will use 1 power and 1 data to generate 3 comms, which will push us towards the bonus reward. And to make sure we have enough power, I'll generate 1 power, even if it should fail. We will finish this mission this turn. See, there was a failure. A minor solar flare has caused the burst of static, overwhelming the transmission. The command will cost an additional 1 data unless you spend 1 energy to resist the event, and I will do so. Because that will mean we will finish on second turn again. Done. So we got 192 approval and 333 science for 2 months. So instead of 444 in total, we get 666, which by the way is also the ideal number. Lunar orbit training science is the only training we can do. The Soviet Union is trying to launch in 11 months. I'll give us April, so we have a buffer of 1 month should the weather not hold. However, we will get also 10% extra science out of this. So, lunar orbit, mission confirmed. Let's take a look at the requests. We have another simple guidance system test. So let's do build the sounding rocket, which already has 65% chance of launch without any hiccups. So let's do that. It's also cheaper than the other option. And we'll move on to the next month. Signal received. A group of children on the opposite side of the world have managed to pick up radio signals from your recent orbiting satellite as part of a school project. The story has been widely covered in the press. We gain 100 additional public approval, public support, and we'll spend 10k to send some mission memorabilia to them. Your agency has sent a collection of memorabilia to the school, including miniature models of the satellite, and thanked the children for their scientific research. Next month, we'll have a launch, and the other rocket will be done as well. Eden research complete. The small capsule able to carry animals into space to study the effects of spaceflight on living organisms. So, that's good. Tsuyosa, no special effects. So that's also awesome. At least nothing negative. Optimal date for our moon mission rocket. So let's hope we can get it launched. No rain, that's good. And let's hope it doesn't go wrong, because then we'll fall behind on the space race quite immediately. Because rebuilding that in time to beat anyone else will be a challenge. Good conditions, 9% increase, 74% launch reliability, only 7% of a failure. Let's do this. Nice, we have a liftoff. Oh, we had some failure. We have one last turn on our first task in the mission. I can live with that. We get some bonus reliability with our parts that we used. Okay, come on. Now comes the transloader injection. We need 2 data and 3 navigation. We have only 3 turns to do this, so it's unlikely we'll get to the bonus objectives unless I find a really good way to do so. And the only real way to generate a lot of data is through the use of both navigation and comms. This is shitty. Actually, if I go this way, I'll go 3 times this. You might be able to pull this off pretty quickly. So, first command, success. Second command, success. Third command, success. So we are already safe. We will finish this stage here without the shadow of a doubt. All I need to generate right now is 1 data. I will spend this entire turn generating power. Then we'll get the data. We'll generate one more power. And I don't know. Another power, even though we can. Well, we can, yes. And we have done it actually with the bonus objective. Next is achieve lunar orbit. So it will now move from Earth to Moon. Now we need to turn our translunar injection orbit into a proper lunar orbit. So basically what would happen right now, it would slingshot around the Moon and get shot into the solar system somewhere. What we need to make now is circulate our orbit to go around the Moon. So, we need 7 and 8. At least we have all 4 turns for this. I can use navigation here. To turn into other resources. So I like to do that often if I can. It's less reliability on power itself, and we can use power to resist failing systems like right now. And now I can use these here, for example, like that. And then generate some power. Successful command. Another hitch. So good thing we generated some power. I need 1 more comms and 6 more freaking data. So let's do that. Twice. Then turn this around like this. Okay. There we had a hitch. And another one. We're running a bit short on the power. We would succeed one way or another, but I need 1 more comms and 3 more data to do this. So, 1 more comms. There has to be a way. Ah. No, not quite. Okay. It's a bit of a risk, but we could get there. Okay, first command is success. We will do this with the bonus mission, one way or another, because I have the power to resist. There we go. Last action of the last turn brought us to the bonus goal. So we're the first to do a lunar orbit, and it went as optimal as it can be. So this will get a really nice reward. So we got 53% more approval and then 50%. So 373 approval and 422 signs for 3 months. Yes, that was what I needed to push ahead of my competition here. Now I can do the rocket test pad, because I still haven't researched that. We have the guidance system test. Get some science training and launches in August. And then we can plan other missions either to Earth or the Moon. There's no requests here. I could do another test quickly. Oh no, that is already which we have. Okay. Launch reliability reduced, but more science rewards. More rewards for the mission, but the task requirements increased by 15%. I think I'll go with the solar wind monitoring again. Same standard version of the payload built. Oh shit, I was stupid. Animal in space, I should have planned that. Can I cancel a mission? Can I cancel an active mission? I have never tried. Can I? I'll get a refund, but yeah, I need to try to push ahead of my competitions in the Animal in Space mission. So, building this instead. Let's hope we can get that out just in time. So, the Soviet Union belittles the lunar orbit success. After receiving a great deal of negative press for falling behind in the space race, Soviet Union has responded by stating your agency's recent lunar orbit mission was of little importance. You have been approached to comment. Well, criticize them. Your agency has retaliated in kind, stating that Soviet Union should focus its efforts on its missions. Perhaps then it will be more successful. Sections of the press have reveled in your fighting words. Soviet Union were less impressed. So we get 200 public support and lose reputations with the Soviet Union, which is fine. I want to keep them in a negative. Rocket test pad research complete. We will probably not be able to build it because we need to keep in mind that we need to build a rocket for our other thing. I need to push ahead to mission control for 2 reasons. First of all, if we want to get to the point where we send a man into space, we need the astronaut training facility to train and hire in the first place astronauts. Secondly, we need the medium launch pad. And they are all both hidden behind the mission control, so we have to push ahead there. Again, I could build the... Actually, rocket test pad is not that expensive. If I build it here, I mean, it costs 100k. But it gives us plus 1% launch reliability and reduces the vehicle build cost by 3% once it's done. Doesn't sound like much, but in the later phases of space race, they will be extremely expensive, these parts. So, mission control research complete. Well, who is surprised? We got a ton of signs right now. Okay. Launch reliability is unfortunately suffering, but we got a bit of a vehicle build cost reduction. Our engineers predict lower than expected vehicle development costs, but the payload will require a more complex launch configuration. Let's design the vehicle. And we can do this with none of the rockets we have. It would be Scout and Algol, I guess, but we don't have the Scout upper stage. Okay. Let's take up. Research. Scout upper stage, please. Animal in space is stuck where it is right now. We might not be able the first to do this. Which is upsetting. I'm not gonna build mission control. It's too expensive for us right now anyways. We would have a request for the moon. Okay, start. Done. Active missions. Animal in space, design the vehicle. Upper stage. Scout. Lower stage, or booster. Algol. Has not the highest reliability, but we have to do this. 2 months. When was the first one to launch? In 4 months. We might just be able to beat China to this. Yeah, China. We could just beat China to it. I will try. Okay, human in space is cheaper. So let's get going with that. Again, I could, in theory, build mission control, but it's not within our funds. Rocket test pad is complete. Launch the guidance system test. Yes. 66% chance reliability of our launch. And perfect weather conditions, I would say. Tsuyosa. No, it's adequate. It stays at 66%. Ignition. We have a liftoff. Ascending fast and steadily. %71%. Everything was fine. Now our sounding rockets have a reliability of a whopping 80%. I could, in theory, start another mission here, but I know there will be a lot of expenses coming up, so like here, our engineers, or your engineers have discovered a manufacturing error in a key component of the Eden payload for your upcoming animal and space mission. They estimated a 10% reduction of payload reliability, which is currently 75%, unless you commit funds to replacing the part. I will do so. A lot of things are hitching on us doing that properly. Launch reliability is abysmal. Final environmental testing found the payload to be more resilient than projected, yet there have been several issues with the vehicle's guidance software. So there's only a 31% chance of a successful launch here. And we're pressed for time, because Soviet Union is about to launch next, in the month after. So it's a huge gamble I'm doing right now. But we have to. As stupid as it sounds, we have to. Animal in space. We have a launch reliability of 34%, but a component or a payload reliability of 75%. At least the weather seems to be fine. I'm gambling hard here. I might lose a lot of both approval and resources by trying to push ahead of China. There's a 60% chance. I can live with a failure. I cannot survive it breaking entirely. As long as it doesn't go boom, I'll count it as a success. Didn't go boom. This was the critical part. Heck, we might have gotten lucky. No, we didn't get. We lost one turn of the first task of the mission, but we have a high reliability of our parts, so something. The scout upper stage will always be pretty unreliable, unfortunately, but it was the cheapest, quickest way for me to do this. And I want to beat China to this. Just by a month, but it's gotta be so good if we pull this off. So, let's see. I need 2 and 7. Or 1 and 3, but I had to try it this way around. Come on, we have high reliability and we get all these failures. Okay, I will not be able to go for the grandiose bonus mission here. Bonus reward. It's not within our means, but we finished the mission. That's what counts. So, we've beaten China to it. we're the first. We get the bonus approval. 160 approval, 468 signs for 2 months. We've beaten China to it. That's the crucial part for me personally, and NASA. But you know, China is gonna launch next month, and they're gonna be in second place, even though they thought they would get it. Delightful, delightful. Now we can plan some other missions here, because we have a bit of funds. Is that technically true? I will wait. Animal testing debate. Several media outlets are debating the ethics of using live animals as test subjects in space flights, spurred by your recent Animal in Space mission. Some have labeled it animal cruelty, while others argue they would rather lose an animal than a human. Your agency has been asked for a response. I will state, as cruel as it may sound, for the purposes of space exploration, we have to do the necessary steps to make sure that our specialists have as much as a chance to survive as possible and further science for us. So, unfortunately, animal tests will be necessary to be able to test the effects of space and space travel on living beings. The agency has stated that animal test flights are a necessity. We place the safety of our human astronauts above all else. The use of animals provides critical knowledge we can take into future human missions. However, we do everything we can to ensure the safe return of each animal. Although some in the media have agreed with your priorities, a prominent public campaign against such missions has resulted in negative publicity. We'll lose 50 support right now, but we will not have to keep an eye out for animal tests. Or tests in general involving animals, because if we now would go back on our word, if we said we will not do any animal tests, we would lose even more. So one-time little reduction there is fine. However, it is time to wrap up this episode. We'll continue right here where we left off next time. See you next time, and stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe.